Badger basketball. Again, I'm going to say it, and don't people go. They let us down in March again. But it was a season that I think is worth digging into. And that's where we can start the show, 844-770-3776. Sakar was talking text line. List is more. And I want to talk about Greg Gard's legacy. And I'll say this right now. This is not a fire Gard situation. And I'll give a shout-out to Jim
Judgmental Jim.
I'm not judging. I'll give a shout-out to Jim Polzine from the State Journal, who wrote an article that said, like, look, you can't sit here and say Gard's an A+ and ignore the March. And nor can you sit here and say Gard's not good at his job. And only focus on March. It is a nuanced conversation, and I want to get the fans' feel for him. I have a grade for him, and I want to ask this question, and we get it out on the side and limit question in a second here. But before we get to our poll question, I just want to – Badgers losing to BYU, I wasn't shocked. Tanjay showed up. Blackwell showed up. Nobody else did. That was my red flag for this team, was that I didn't know if you could count on anyone else. There was the hope that maybe Winter would show up or Kroll would show up or Klesmit or McGee, but they were not consistent third option that would show up. And BYU looked like the better team, and this is not a shot against Gard, a better coach team, better, more talented team, and BYU just looked better. Wisconsin still had a chance in the end because of the singular amazing performance from Tanjay, but it was a team that was still too reliant on one guy, and what I predicted going in is I thought the Sweet 16 would be amazing because that was kind of the ceiling for this team. They fell, 2 points short of their ceiling?
Mm-hmm.
Did you say it was a ceiling?
I didn't think they could hire the Sweet 16.
Well, no, I thought you said the ceiling. That's what you, that was the expectation, wasn't it?
I was giving them an A+ if they got that.
Okay. Like full pass.
Yes.
For the season.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. Disappointing, yes. Felt like, but at the beginning of the season, if you'd have told me they're making the tournament, I'm like, might be a bit of a stretch because I did not have
dead last. They were picked to be losers.
I had no confidence in this team going into it. So the fact that they were as good as they were, I'm pretty impressed with. I'm hoping now, Jim, you can correct me if I'm wrong because this is a big vibes guy take. Big vibes guy take. I'm a nut. Is this the path for the Badgers going forward? We haven't always dealt with this in the portal, and obviously it's new. We lost everybody at the end of last year and had to really be portal dependent. Is that the way forward for the Badgers to remain relevant in basketball, is just be that portal dependent team? Because we're going to lose guys to bigger and better basketball programs. It's going to happen. We're not good enough. If people don't think the Badgers, and by people I mean players, don't think that they can win a title there or get noticed by NBA scouts, they're going to move on to a team
or
where
make a ton of money.
Or make a ton of money in NIL. I'm just wondering, we were forced to dive in the portal. We did. We had success. Is that where the Badgers are going to lie? And then become a 3-point shooting team?
They are starting to look like, and we had this conversation pre-show.
Yeah.
In all meanings of the word, the Badger basketball team, when we get to football at some point, they're like a mid-major. Dak Prescott is mid, but they play like a mid-major. And they might have to recruit and have the budget for basketball like a mid-major. So that's why I'm not coming on here Gard show. It's not the show today. You have to weave into the conversation that we're pushing 8 years or over 8 years now since they made a Sweet 16. So it is a collective. It hasn't happened. And that's why getting there is so important, because you just kind of take the monkey off your back for that situation. But to your question, yeah, they're going to have to. So this year, this might be the last we see a senior class like this. Stephen Kroll was around for a while. Then you had McGee. Kamari McGee was around for a while. Max Klesmit and McGee were both transfers, but they didn't feel like it because they were around for so long. Then you had Ilver. He didn't really do much, but he was around for a while. Am I missing anyone on the senior? Or Carter Gilmore?
I was going to say, come on.
Yeah, he doesn't really track me, but yes, Carter Gilmore.
Tanjay was a senior as well, like Molly said,
right,
1 year.
But I'm saying this group of Carter Gilmore was in the other one of players who were here for a while. And so that we'll probably not see again. there are some young players on this team. You had Janicki. You have Daniel Freitag, who didn't play, who weirdly didn't play because coming in, he's one of the more highly regarded players out of high school that Wisconsin's had. So hopefully he stays and is not upset he didn't play. Then you have kid Jack Robinson, a big from Minnesota, who's going to be on the Nolan Winter path of, all right, next year he'll get 10 minutes. And, they're going to need people to jump in. They need, to your question, yes, they're going to need more bodies out of the transfer portal. Xavier Amos and Cam Hunter were both juniors. Hunter, I don't think, played this year.
But do we think all the guys that we had are safe from not getting poached to another program?
No, absolutely not. I mean, Blackwell can say until he is shooting up and tying his shoes before the first tip.
Because that's exactly what Chucky Hepburn did.
And I don't blame them.
Right.
No blame. But no, I don't count on anyone showing.
So just a question. Do you guys, and we might have to workshop this question that I'm going to pose to you, but is the Badgers basketball team making it to the round of 32 almost the equivalent to the Badgers football team just making a bowl game?
Yeah.
Great. You're making a pinstripe bowl. Great. You're making a crummy bowl game. Okay, you're continuing the streak, but nobody actually cares because it doesn't mean anything.
So basically, to your point, they got
but like that is that's what it feels like to me as a fan.
I've had this conversation before when we try to equate it to bowls, and I do like it. It'd be the equivalent of you went to the Pinstripe Bowl because you won your first game. If you had won this other one, you go to the Outback Bowl. It's not quite
just a tier above
Capital One Bowl. It's not quite the
right.
When you get to the Sweet 16. I'm sorry. And I was with this with Bo Ryan. You get to the Sweet 16, that's like getting to
you're one of the top 16 teams in the country.
Bowl. You're a New Year's Day type bowl game, and so I will always maintain that, and I'll always hold that as the standard that I will never question a coach if they can get there. You don't have to get there all the time, but you got to get there more than once every 8 years, and this is where the Gard conversation pops in. So I do like that. So I want to pop out a Saturday Unlimited poll question. 844-770-3776. Less is more. I want you to grade Greg Gard. I want you to grade his tenure. Not just this year, because this year isn't the whole thing. Because this year this year raised the GPA, but I want to know what you think about Greg Gard's tenure at Wisconsin. Now, I'm not going below a C because that's ridiculous. I would hear the argument not to go below a B. But I'm not going below C.
Absolutely ridiculous.
So give us a grade, and so we'll pull us to that ESPN Madison, A, B, or C. We all agree, right? We're not going below a C.
Yeah,
I'm good with
Aren't
that.
you curious to see if any fans would though?
I don't want
the
our
fans that are
name
going to
attached
go
to
below
it.
C are the write-in kind of
Yeah,
fans.
they can write in.
They're the writing kind of fans, but
we'll see
we'd be
it.
curious to see what percentage they are.
They can
I don't
text
want
us.
our name attached to that though. I don't want us to be accused of clickbaiting on it because I don't want. I don't.
Judgmental Jim.
Because to me, below a C, you've lost your mind.
Agreed.
Because to me, a C says he's been average, and you can't make a case to me that he's been below average, and I think he's been above average. But so below C, you're delusional. 'Cause I don't know who's
You're
coming
just
in here.
mean.
Yeah, and mean.
You're just trying to be mean. You're
You're just
trying to
upset over the
hurt
loss.
people. Yeah,
Your fault.
it's not your
You're
fault.
reeling.
We have
Ryan, you ultimately have final control. If you're going to be that guy, you can be that guy. But
No, I'm curious. Are we looking for the true temperament of the fan base? Or are we just trying to pick what the Jim
Ryan just
Matt
wants to
Mullen
have an
scale is?
option to
I
be able to
think-
vote on
I-
for himself.
yeah. This is Ryan's vote.
Because
He's like,
I'm the one who's over here talking about this is the end of Badgers basketball, like the mid-major crew in there. Yeah, that's me too.
don't
It's
right?
not
even.
the end. It's just the new
Yeah, we're
beginning.
just the new.
Oh,
we're just
yeah.
the new mid-major.
Clearly, we made a bowl game, barely hanging on. Nobody opts
Bro,
out if you're making the round of 32.
Don't be that mad because we're McNeese now.
Give it time. Did you just
McNeese has more aura than we do.
They do. They do. They have more NIL money, at least.
I was going to say
I
that
guarantee
manager
their-
probably makes
their
more than
equipment
anybody on the
manager
Badger
makes-
team.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Sitting next to Spike Lee.
Stin, the Badger equipment alum, chimes in. Sweet 16 equals college football playoff. I think I go Elite 8 for college football playoff.
Expanded playoffs
I
though
know,
this season.
but that's the feel part of it. Sweet 16 means, to me, it means you made a New Year's Day bowl. Which I guess puts you in the college football playoff.
Arizona
but
State made the college football playoff this year, correct?
They did. They won the Big 12.
Yep, and then they played against Texas, right?
Yes, and
that
they
to
had a
me is like the
furious
Sweet
comeback.
16. Yeah.
All right,
fair.
it's newer, but okay, fine.
It's not a perfect. There's no going to be
No.
no perfect comparison.
No, that's fine.
Not until the
Here's the thing.
college
until they go to
football goes
16.
It ain't gonna
16.
happen. We're arguing
They're
about.
gonna go 64. They're gonna have their
We're
own
arguing
bracket.
about unicorns at this point. Who cares? We're not there. It's just not going to happen. Daniel Landscaper chimes in. He says, we won't win a title in our lifetime in football or basketball. The closest we'll ever get was the team we had in 14 and 15. By far the best team we have had and the most fun to watch. Won't see that again in the Badgers' history.
Wow.
But then he continues to rate him a B+. Greg Gard a B+.
Well, it's the restrictions.
I like that. He's like, I'm going to tell you how I feel, but I'm going to grade him objectively.
All right. We also had TJ from the road chime in, grade of B+. Jim, you called it. They ran out of gas, and they played, and the altitude didn't help. Yeah, the altitude didn't help. 6 games in 10 days didn't help, but
help Tanjay.
But that's the hand that you're dealt. Like I'm kind of tired of hearing
you
that.
dealt your own damn hand.
Yes, but exactly. So it's like I get it that people keep saying, "Oh, they were tired. Oh, they were in a higher elevation." Okay, but like deal with it.
Yes.
Move on.
Because Jim's right. If they beat Penn State, they might be in another region.
Yeah, you could, but beat Penn State at home on Senior Day. Penn State so bad they didn't make the Big Ten tournament. Win that game, you get a bye in the Big Ten tournament, so you're less tired.
Double bye.
Yeah, the double bye. You're right. The double bye in the Big Ten tournament. You're less tired. In a perfect world, you win. You beat UCLA. You lose to Michigan State. You get the Milwaukee draw because you ended the season a little bit stronger, and now you're healthier, and you get a better matchup, and you play at home, and everything seems hunky dory. That's all part of the tournament. Again, that's all part of what you take into it for Gard. But like, they got a bad draw, but it didn't just happen to him.
Right.
You know, if you had beaten Penn State, you wouldn't have had
My
that
mom
draw.
says, you made your bed, now you got away in it.
Yes.
That's what they did.
Rick from DeForest chimes in. Greg Gard is a C, closer to a D, to be honest. That's Rick from our good friend in North and South.
Savage, Rick.
The Badger Equipment alum chimes in A-. So I'm excited to continue to get the grades. 844-770-3776. Carl was talking text line. List is more. That's our siding limited poll question. Chime in. Give Greg Gard a grade for his entire tenure as the Badgers basketball coach. We'll continue that conversation on the other side.